YouTubers, Bald Rhino here. Final video of the National Review. I am worn out, but I have a couple things I wanted to talk to you about briefly while you look at this incredible Mike Trout National Convention 2017 Bowman Chrome 10. It's numbered out of 25, I think it's 31. But the first is Cleveland is the winner. What a good time. Interestingly, the dealers do prefer Chicago. I think the prices will be better in Cleveland, but higher in Chicago. But the internet had some tough times in Cleveland, as well as ATMs and just general accessibility to other things. So I think that all in all, it was a great conference, but people are going to prefer Chicago by quite a large margin. At least that's what the dealers said. I'll never buy another box online. I will always buy them at the National. That was the biggest thing I gained from this. I talked about it last night, but the chances of you actually getting a hit and paying for your boxes is a lot higher. And it's just bring a big suitcase and carry boxes out. That's what I'm doing right now. Buy late. That is one thing. Unless you get there early and you are a master negotiator, I would buy late. The money was flowing. I watched a lot of people put down lots of money for cards late, and the dealers seem to be more willing to work out a deal late. Those are obvious things, but I want to make sure that I confirmed it because I think it's important. It's too late for the Jeter SP foil. Oh my gosh, I just can't believe how many people were buying that card, and saw one guy buy 10 of them in front of me, all cash. Was pretty amazing, but obviously that's a pretty hot card. Also, vintage, centered vintage has a very strong floor price, and that should make everybody who collects that stuff very happy. On the other hand, if the vintage is not centered, people are really willing to negotiate, particularly towards the end of the show. I thought that was very interesting. So if you have centered vintage, I wouldn't sell it for anything because it's probably a very good investment. And then lastly, PSA is still number one. To a person, nobody was really excited or seemed to care too much about SGC's announcement. So I thought that was interesting. So anyway, that's all I had. I hope those things are helpful. Here are some of the cards that I got. This is my favorite by far. I didn't pay much at all. These things were 40% off late in the game, so I got that one there. Whitey Ford, PSA 4. This is probably my favorite. Bought this from Evan Mathis, who used to play for the Broncos. He's got a great collection, and he's a fair guy to deal with. So that's a tough grade, a 10 there for sure. And then these were so cheap, I just couldn't. I do collect the 54 Bowman, but a couple commons. I mean, it's a beautiful 5 there. These were in just the cheapest box, and I couldn't believe it. 85 Donner Steve Carlton, that's a 10. I think that was like $6. Tom Seaver, 85 Donners. These black border cards, that's a 10. I think that was like $8. Now these are really cheap. The Fleer 87, there's a 10. Schmidt, 87 Fleer. And it's a pretty easy grade, I think, but still a 10. And Reggie Jackson. A guy that I paid, this was like $4, but I really think he'll eventually make the Hall of Fame. Dwight Evans. It's a 4. I mean, I think it's $4. And then Sherman Lauer, 5. Hall of Famer. Not a lot of people know that. Early win, 5.5. Again, these aren't anything to brag about, but boy, they were cheap. Fernando Valenzuela, 87 Fleer 10. And then, I have lots of friends that like Fernando. I like him too, so these are probably more gifts than anything else. But there's only 9 that I was able to get, and that was cheap too. That was $8. And then the last card is the 2010 Bowman Prospects Nolan Arenado red. I really think that Nolan is a special player. I'm just betting that he won't get screwed by the baseball writers. I just think he's a special talent. So that's it for that, guys. Thanks so much for the patience and the encouragement. It was great to meet everybody, and until next year, bye-bye.